Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Yo, hello everybody, how in the world are you? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, and I'm here once again providing new content and cooking it up here in this kitchen that we call the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. That's right, coming at you from an undisclosed location, but we are in the state of Maryland. I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but we are in the state of Maryland. I'm really happy to be here, mainly for the reason that, once again, I'm here to create content. I'm here to, make real conversations, have powerful stories that will develop a lasting impact, not only for you, the audience, but for me as well, and for people that are involved. And, ladies and gentlemen, we're here today for the fact that every so often we get a good opportunity to bring in a guest. And this gentleman here that I have with me is somebody that I know through the acting industry. Currently, right now, he is an actor as well as working sound for a movie that I'm also in, and it's called DC Bounty Hunter. It's, basically kind of like a, let me give you like a little bit of a plot. Guy actually decides to have like a bounty hunter team to make money and to go ahead and also at the same time, take out the bad guys. But, lo and behold, he actually meets somebody that, is his match in the hip hop warlock, which is a big guy that is like not only a very dangerous martial artist, but just like a real bad guy. That's like, I guess for a lack of a better term, the bad guy of the bad guys. And this gentleman right here is an actor. He's, as a part of the cast. And again, he runs the sound. And we're going to go ahead and talk to him, get to know him a little bit. And the fact that he's here, it's awesome. It's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, here for the one time, right here in an undisclosed location in the state of Maryland, right here in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, I got my guy, David Eppstein. He is in the building. David, what's going on, big time?
Oh, thank you for having me. And I'll just say this is a fantastic location we are at right now. I can't say anything else, but the things that I'm looking at, I'm seeing is amazing. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because at this moment right now, it's like we're here doing a podcast and I'm giving you an interview. We're literally sitting on some stools that's like right next to a nice wooden table, and across from us is a nice visual of the finals of the World Cup, Spain versus Argentina, which honestly, I mean, I know people are picking Argentina, but I'm really wanting Spain to win.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you there. And this may shock you, but I actually have some Spanish roots. Back in the day, I believe it was the 1500s or so, my ancestors were kicked out of Spain for not agreeing with the religious policies of the country. But anyway, they graciously kicked us out rather than a more severe punishment. So for that, I'm grateful, and I'm going with Spain.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I mean,
historic reasons.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, and, again, I'm not trying to disrespect Lionel Messi. I think that he did great in the last World Cup, bringing, a championship to Argentina for, the first time in quite a while. Not since, I think, the Maradona days. But, he finally got one in his resume. So if he was at this point right now, while we're recording, if Argentina was to lose and it was his last, showing ever, I think he wouldn't lose any sleep. I think that, he would be happy with the career that he's had and the championships that he's won, and the fact that, you brought home the World Cup. There are many countries that haven't brought home the World Cup, and you have in your career as a player, and a person that represents that nation. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm on the same frequency there. I think Argentina, I got nothing against them. Yeah, they won it all, like I said last time. So I'm kind of one of those spread it around types of people. I think Spain's won it once before, so this is a while ago. So yeah, this would be good for them anyway. Hopefully, it's just a good game, a good long. I'd like it to see it to maybe end in extra time. I don't know about the penalty thing. That's super exciting, but it's kind of a controversial way sometimes to end a championship.
I don't know. I don't mind the shootout.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch.
The 5-on-5, like at the very end when nobody scores at all, like in the and just like in the regular segment of it, and then the 2 extra I guess like sudden death periods. It makes for a compelling story.
Yeah, everybody's exhausted, and then they got to step up and get it done. Yeah, so we'll see. This is great setting. No, I really appreciate being here.
No worries, man. Well, let's go ahead and start from the beginning, because I like to always start from the genesis of things. Now, you're currently living over in Washington, D.C., but is that where you're originally from?
Well, born in Nashville, Tennessee, actually, and spent a few years there. But most of my life was in Ohio, and then I moved to D.C. in the 90s. To intern for a member of Congress. And that kind of led to a career here in Washington, D.C. I love it. Yeah, so actually I started out like in Adams Morgan area, basically, when I first got here, and just living there in kind of a house with a few other roommates, and working on Capitol Hill for no money, and waiting tables at night, that kind of thing. So. Oh man. Yeah.
Now you said that you were born in Tennessee, and you said that you were in Nashville, Tennessee, and then you moved out over to Ohio. How old were you when you moved to Ohio, and where in Ohio?
Yeah, so I moved when I was like 3.5, 4 years old, so I had a very thick Southern accent when I was a little kid growing up, and then moved to Suburban Cincinnati. And that was where I spent basically K through 12, so I had the luxury actually of going to the same school from kindergarten through 12th grade. I know a lot of kids didn't have that, and I kind of felt for some of these kids you see going in and out, or they get bounced around to different schools, that must have been so tough,
Okay, so you know about that Cincinnati chili.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, I got a few cans of chili in my cupboards right now, and then after you go to Skyline or Gold Star or whatever, usually Skyline, Grater's ice cream is the way to go.
Oh,
now I don't know if you know about that, but
I know a little bit about that. Not a lot, but I know a little bit.
Oprah Winfrey many years ago declared that as her favorite ice cream, and then they couldn't keep it on the shelf. So it's good stuff. I highly recommend it. They do actually have it in some stores in the area here. Will sell it.
Okay. And then obviously you said that you moved over to Washington D.C. That you're permanent Washingtonian.
Yeah.
What were you trying to get into in terms of career-wise, and let alone let's take it back a little bit before that. What kind of person were you like back in the day? Were you like a shy kid? Were you outgoing? Were you athletic? Were you more like an intellectual? What were you?
That's funny. Yeah, I was actually just a little bit of all that. So I was shy, but then when I had a few drinks in me, then I was outgoing. And, intellectual to the extent that I like to study certain things like history. Mm-hmm. And, I was good at certain subjects and just not good at other subjects. So, I was into sports. When I was in high school, I wrestled, which was great because I was in really good physical shape and all this and that. But those wrestling skills didn't translate till afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who play tennis or golf or whatever, they can still do that to this day.
Right.
I can't. I'm not going to the park and doing like a pickup wrestling match. So it's like,
I got you.
In fact, I'd rather not. But anyway, it was good at the time, and to this day, I dabble. Now it's more like cycling and easier kind of sports for myself.
Right, and, something less taxing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
much less taxing.
So when you moved over to DC, what were you trying to do? Were you what career were you getting into?
Yeah, so after I graduated from undergrad at Ohio State University, I wasn't really trained to do anything. You know, I had a political science major and an English minor, and it came down to basically I got to go to grad school. So, you know, I went to law school in Cleveland, and that was good. I liked that. I enjoyed it. And then I got a semester's worth of law school credit to come and intern for a member of Congress. So I jumped on that. I loved it. So that was when I was living in D.C. and working for free Monday through Friday, volunteering essentially as an intern on Capitol Hill and then waiting tables at night. So I was able to, parlay that into eventually a permanent job on Capitol Hill. So I enjoy that very much. I got to be a counsel to the member of Congress that I had interned with before, and he was the chair of the Financial Services Committee. It was a pretty powerful committee in the House, and so I was one of the committee counsels, and that was just probably one of the highlights of my career for sure. I did that until 2005, and then, you know, when you leave the Hill, it's kind of like you go into lobbying, you know, it's just kind of like a natural transition. So I've been lobbying for various industries since 2005, and currently I lobby for the legal industry for the American Bar Association.
Oh, wow. Wow. It just seems like, you know, with your career, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's very political based.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very political. Yeah, keep up with politics a lot, and not a day goes by where in fact it happened today, where I myself would love to run for office, but it's so difficult, so much easier said than done, and especially for, you know, like a transplant. So many, you know, some politicians could pull that off, move into a new place and run for office and be successful, but a lot of the most successful ones are from the area where they get elected. You know what I mean? They've spent a lot of time in the community, and, you know, they're well known, that sort of thing. But for me, no, it's mostly behind the scenes, lobbying members of Congress, which is mostly, frankly, dealing with their staff, you know, which is fine, on different policy issues, and discussing what they're trying to do, and either we think it's a great idea or we think maybe it's not such a great idea, and we'll, you know, try to steer them in a different direction.
Did you ever feel that, you know, going into the career that you currently are in right now, that if you decided to, you know, chase that that working field, you know, did you feel like, number one, that you might have had some reservations about it, and number two, did you feel like, you know, this could be good, but it could also kind of be bad at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. So working for the government, working for this member of Congress had a certain amount of comfort, you know, it was nice, but it's very fickle, you know. So in my case, so, you know, sometimes if the House changes parties, you know, the party that's in charge gets to hire a lot of people, and the party that falls out of charge has to lose a lot of people, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not permanent, but I got comfortable there. And then when my boss announced his retirement, that was oh my God, what am I gonna do? So luckily I really got lucky. I think in a lot of my jobs in life, I kind of fell into them. I didn't really seek them out. It just kind of, that opportunity presented itself, and I fell into it. So that's what happened to me when my boss decided to retire. Now all of a sudden you've got several people with similar skills looking for these similar jobs out there. So that is very nerve-wracking. So because you're competing against, for a lot of these, you know, plum jobs, with people that you worked with, and in some cases you're friends with, you know.
Right.
And so I landed what I would consider a good job lobbying for the insurance industry. And, you know, several years before I got that job, if you told me I would be lobbying for the insurance industry, I would have told you you're crazy, you know.
Right, okay.
But, I mean, that ended up being fantastic. I mean, needless to say, there's a lot of money in the insurance industry.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. I mean, I'm only basing it out of, what is that? There was a movie called The Rainmaker.
Oh, yeah.
And, Matt Damon played, you know, a lawyer.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, they were going after, him and Danny DeVito was going after an insurance fraud scam. Yeah.
That was so common, yeah.
Yeah. So when you just said that, I was like, oh my God, this is just like The Rainmaker.
Yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned that because I specifically I didn't want to do like the law firm thing when I was in law school. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I kind of thought I wanted to be an environmental lawyer, this and that, but I knew I didn't want to have like a lot of that pressure on me. You know, I just at the time I guess it just didn't appeal to me. I was more into kind of a relaxed lifestyle because I had some friends that went into that, you know, into a law firm. You're a summer associate, you're competing with 7 or 8 other people and they're going to hire maybe one, you know what I mean? And they just kind of work you to death.
Right.
And then when you get hired, they work you to death for about 10 years or so. You're in the basement doing research, the partners are getting the glory. And then if you're lucky, after 10 years or so, you might become partner and then, you know, that's a good deal. But that wasn't for me.
I hear you. No, I was going to ask, you know, when you entered, you know, the field, did you at any point felt like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me and I want to do something else that's way different?
Yeah, because a lot of it is a lot of reading and a lot of, you know, spending time in the office. You know, I mean, it was like a work ethic, and that's fine. Like, you know, you want to be the first one there, last one to leave. So that means, you know, you're in this office.
Right.
Which, if you're working on Capitol Hill, a lot of times it's a cubicle or a very small office or whatever. But you're spending long hours there, and if you're a government employee, you know, the pay is not great at that time. You know, you're networking, you're making great contacts and stuff. So, yeah, there was a lot of times where I'm like, wow, is this right for me? And then the other path that I almost chose was an educator, like a high school. I could see myself like teaching in high school, maybe coaching some kind of sports or something like that. That would have been like the alternative path for me. And that, I think that path, you know, that door's not shut. You know, that door's always open for me. So that could happen someday.
Okay. Nice. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. I mean, you know, now you're in the film industry. You're in the acting industry. How did that happen? Like, what made you decide to chase it? What made you decide to pursue it? Was there a moment in time where you're like, yeah, that's something that I might be interested in doing? Sure.
Yeah, it happened. A colleague of mine I worked with on the Hill was involved with Carlin Davis Casting. They're from Northern Virginia. I believe they're closed now.
Okay.
So, but I applied with them several years ago and just started getting just odd jobs, you know. Some of it would be industrial films where you're doing a public service announcement on how to safely handle chemicals or something.
Right.
But then I started getting background roles on shows like House of Cards, you know, and they filmed a lot of stuff around DC. Veep was another big one.
Yeah.
Blacklist. They filmed a lot of Blacklist. So I started getting, you know, mostly background, you know, hardly, you know, really no roles, but it was still fascinating, wonderful. And then after COVID, I was like, you know, I'm going to give this another shot. Did headshots, everything, and just started applying around. And like my real jobs, I just kind of fell into this DC bounty hunter. And then also at the same time, there's a series being filmed in Westminster, Maryland, mostly in Westminster, called Word and Deed.
Okay.
So I got a role in that one too, similar to how I kind of fell into DC bounty hunter. I was background in Word and Deed, and somebody who had a role left. And since they knew me and I was there and they were used to me, they said, hey, you want to step in? And
was it that project that you had a picture where you were dressed in a military uniform?
So that was something else. That was something that I did this week, and that was through Liquid Talent.
Okay.
Sherry Bias.
Okay.
And so that was a PSA for the military, and that was just so much fun. It was a one-day thing, and that is what I love about doing what we do, is just never know what you're going to be doing. So that was at Fort Lee, just south of Richmond, and I got to play a lieutenant colonel.
Oh, wow.
And so this is going to be on Armed Forces Network as a PSA, just talking about different things. There was no dialogue in what we were doing, so we're sitting around a table kind of pretending to be discussing with the general and all these other so I don't really know what they're going to voice over, but in the past it's been things like suicide prevention or how to handle weapons safely, you know, that sort of PSA type of stuff.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. And then the people that you meet while you're doing this, it's just as you know, amazing.
Right.
So you meet, and then that grows, and then oftentimes that leads to more work, and then that's how it kind of goes. And that's how it was going for me pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, and it was boom. I had to start all over.
Did you ever feel like when you first entered it, that you were having a thought in your mind that you're like, wow, I'm really getting way in over my head with this, because with acting, it for some people it's it's life, and it's and there's a lot of competition with it. For some, it's just like, I'm just doing it just for the fun of it.
Yeah, so I was doing it, just for the fun of it, and it was mostly background, so it's hard to screw that up, although I did, a couple times. But for me, so it was low pressure, but until there was this one scene, and see, it was House of Cards, and so there was a lot of pressure on us, and I played military. It was a scene where it was a salute at a funeral, and we had to do this tap step with 5 people,
right.
All choreographed. And if anybody, knows me, knows that I'm not, a dancer. I don't do the choreography. We had to practice. We rehearsed for that, and it was it's a first-rate award-winning show. So they paid us for the rehearsal. We had a real military guy teaching us everything. And in my head, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be the one to screw this up in front of everybody. They're going to kick me off the set. It's like, but that didn't happen. And we pulled it off, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Now, let's talk a little bit about DC Bounty Hunter, because you said earlier before we recorded that you actually got in not so much of doing a traditional audition, but just with networking with people that you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely by accident.
How, now, what happened specifically?
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'll tell you specifically. So we could say his name, right? The cinematographer,
Yeah.
Robert Costner. Okay, so I had worked with him on maybe 2 projects before, and I met Robert just on a whim through Facebook. So he posts a lot, and he says, hey, you want to work? He films every weekend. And he says, hey, you want to work? Come on my film set. So I kept in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to do that one day. And I did one day, and it was a tuna fish commercial he was filming, like in a neighborhood, and I had no idea what to expect, nothing. So anyway, fast forward a little bit, I started working with Robert kind of as his assistant, giving him different lenses, blah blah blah, helping him set up shots, whatever he needed to help set up the shots. So Robert got DC Bounty Hunter to be the cinematographer. So Robert said, hey, we're filming at the Providence Hospital on a Saturday morning. Are you available, to come help me? I had never met King Jason. I had never met anybody else from DC Bounty Hunter. I came in with Robert.
Okay.
So we started working, and I'm handing him lenses. I'm moving the lights and this and that. We're setting up scenes. And Robert was kind enough to say to Jason, hey, David is actually, he's an actor. So if there's a line available, he might be interested. So, and to his credit, Jason, God love him, he followed up, and he said, you know what, I think there might be a role for you. So it was an absolute case of me being at the right place at the right time. Right. And and it went from there, and in my head I had a character in my I was like, wow, if he really gonna follow through with this, and he's gonna let me be a character in this movie, I've got an idea. And of course it was to be a bad guy. Okay. And I want to be a bad guy, but he came to me and he said, no, I think we need a rival bounty hunter, someone who's been doing this for a while, and who's not happy about my characters getting into this business kind of thing. So you're going to play Ethan Cross, bounty hunter, and the way Jason films is, there's no script. Right. Okay. It's very free. Right. And which can be unnerving and exciting and exhilarating all at the same time. And that's, the first scene that he asked me the other day what my favorite scene was, and it was the first scene where I'm confronting him and saying, hey, you've got no business doing this. You're in over your head, basically. Yep.
That's right. Now, I mean, knowing that you got in as an actor, I mean, did you have any reservations before actually accepting the role, or were you just like, well, whatever happens, happens. I mean, it's just another opportunity, presenting itself at the door. Why not see what happens?
Yeah, it was more the latter. I did have reservations, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into, because there was no script.
Right.
So he just told me a little bit about, this character, Ethan, but very little. And so luckily I had all day. We were shooting all day on Saturday, and my scene was going to be one of the last ones. And a lot of the other people that I met were so gracious. They allowed me to rehearse a little bit with them. I told them what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
And they said, "Oh, okay, give me what you got." And so that helped me tremendously.
Okay.
Because I got to do it a couple times. And then when it came to it, I wrote it down on my phone in my notes, what I wanted to say, the main points I wanted to make.
Right.
I had several hours to get ready to do this big scene. Yeah, and I was extremely nervous. It was just me and Jason, essentially, and mostly me telling him, listing a bunch of reasons why he should not be getting into this. And of course, I'm thinking, how am I going to pull this off? I'm a rival bounty hunter. He's the star of the show. Obviously, I'm not going to win, So I'm going to lose, but I'm going to try to figure out a way to lose graciously, or look good while doing it. If you
Right.
will, I didn't want to confront him and act like a, big jerk, kind of a guy. It was a mix of being a jerk and also trying to, in my head, I think I'm giving him good advice. Like, hey, you're a garbage man. You're a trash man.
Right.
You're not a bounty hunter.
Right. I got you. I mean, was there any special preparations that you needed to do for your character before actually taking on DC Bounty Hunter?
Not really. I did Google and I YouTubed, bounty hunters. Like, what do they wear? What do they look like? What do they do? And it really was kind of fascinating. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole for at least a good half a day, and it was very enjoyable listening to these real bounty hunters explain how they did their job and just how excited they were about it, how much they loved it, how they loved that they weren't really, police officers. They were more kind of private, so the rules were a little different for them, maybe a little bit looser, and they just loved the idea of pursuing these people across country. And of course, one of the oldest tricks in the book that they talk about is they would call whoever they're looking for. They would call their family, call their mom, and pretend to be a long lost friend.
Yeah.
Back in town. Hey, where is so and so these days?
Yeah.
And they're like 9 times out of 10, they tell them right where that person is.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, that's how they. Yeah. So there's a whole thing about tracing these bounty, these skippers. I think So that was another thing I wanted to learn, like the lingo.
Yeah.
What were some inside terms and stuff? Yeah.
Like the proper terminology.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel you. Now, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, because I know, some productions, they have a non-disclosure agreement and so forth. Does your character have any fight scenes or fight sequences?
No, but I'm pretty thankful for that because I've seen some of them, and I mean they were really. You saw some of them, I think. It was pretty intense. And then even when there was a few scenes where we were, Jason was kind enough to let my character Ethan get a couple successful bounties, and so one was a female who was kind of crying, came in very easily. One was a white collar criminal,
right,
who came in, very not kicking and screaming, but the ones that he caught were kicking and screaming and fighting, and I'm thinking in my head, oh, okay, I'm kind of glad. There's a lot of intensity and a lot of sometimes as an actor you're like, oh, that would be cool to be a part of that scene, but sometimes it's like, oh man, that looks like it kind of hurts, I think Jason was choked out a couple times. I don't want to give away too much, but he gets it rough in the movie, and see, I know that, so that's why some of my dialogue with him is, I think, prescient, because I'm like, hey man, be careful, this is a tough business, right? Knowing that some things are going to happen to him,
If you were told, and I'm just saying if, because you already confirmed it, but if you were told that hey, your character is going to be involved in a couple of fight scenes, whether if it was going to be like gunplay or even like, hand-to-hand combat, fight choreography kind of a thing. Do you think you yourself as an actor, do you think that you would have been prepared for that? Or do you feel like I think I do need to, practice and train in this situation before entering that door, because I may not feel as comfortable about this as I should?
Yeah, the latter, definitely for me. I'd want more training, or as much as I could get.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you're doing this, you're going to be captured on film forever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And, right. And then so you want to make it look the best you possibly can. And so yeah, for me, definitely any kind of training. And see, I'm open to. I think some actors are a little. They don't necessarily want to hear feedback, or some call it criticism or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm open to everything. I'm not so big-headed to think I know everything about what I'm doing. And no, for a fight scene specifically, yeah, I think training would be absolutely helpful to have that trust there. And then yeah, just for me, I like to rehearse a few times.
Yeah.
And see, Jason, he doesn't really want to, because it's so interesting, because he wants it to be organic,
Okay.
So I remember at the beginning kind of trying to tell him, hey, Jason, this is kind of what I'm thinking about playing it. And he was kind of like, whatever, I thought he was just dismissive, but no, he doesn't want to know. He wants to find out on the spot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So anyway, no, I definitely think training is important. I think, to help make it look as authentic as possible.
I think, also, this is a thing where I probably want to get your opinion on it. There are some actors out there. Now, I'm not saying every single actor out there in the world, but I'm saying there are a couple of actors out there that are thinking to themselves, like, what's the big deal? It's a fight scene. I think that I can do it. I have zero experience, but, how hard can this, this stuff be? And later on, they find out that, if something bad happens to them, like they get hurt on the set, or they get an injury or something like that, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, and I think overconfidence, that can be the downfall of so many people in so many fields. But yeah, acting for sure. Yeah, if you think you know it all and you don't want to hear it, it can lead to some bad outcomes. Definitely.
Right.
And for me, it's like, why not take the training? It's there for you. If you use it, great. If you don't use it, that's another thing, that you've at least heard it, and rejected it.
Yeah. But
to reject it without even hearing it, I don't think, that's a little ignorant in my opinion.
Yeah, because there are some actors, unfortunately, if they're told that there's a fight scene and there's also going to be a stunt that is involved, and they have to train and get prepared for that. I think some of them are open to it. Mm-hmm. And they're okay with it, and they're like, okay, whatever I need to do in order to make this go very well. And also at the same time, train for the situation where, like, if something does happen, I'm not going to get hurt as much. Versus, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, versus, well, it could look bad and you could get hurt. There's two risks that I wouldn't be willing to take. So for me, if that opportunity came, if Jason or somebody came to me and said, hey, you're going to be involved in a fight scene, I would want as much training absolutely before that fight scene as possible.
And that's why I tell actors all the time, like, if you have zero experience, honestly, you need to train. You need to take, you need to go with a fight choreographer or a stunt coordinator. Get that down. Whether if you have to work with them directly, if you have to take like a seminar or something like that and kind of train before this stuff happens. It's really important, because if you get hurt on the set, it's not like a local a local film project, or a film company locally will be able to cover your hospital bill.
Right.
Because that's not that kind of thing. I mean, if it was in Hollywood, in a big time, actual major motion picture, that has like millions and millions of dollars on the budget, sure, yeah, go for it. It's all good. But locally, in this industry, and being that if this was the world of sports, we're like the NCAA, versus the NBA. We just don't have it. We don't have it.
Well, yeah, in my opinion, that's why I think we have to work a little harder, train a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen it too in actors here. It's so much fun what we do. I mean, it's a blast. So you can get kind of lost in like, hey, we're having a good time here, but on the other hand, it's very serious.
Yeah.
And we have to take this very seriously, take our job seriously, and what does that mean? In many cases that means training for it. I took a acting class on horseback, how to act on horseback.
Oh wow!
And it was fascinating. I mean, it was great. It wasn't for me. I was terrified. Being on top of that horse, you're so high up.
Yeah.
And one guy he fell off. He was okay, but he was an experienced rider, and he fell, and that's like it's a pretty good fall.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fantastic. You could tell, and of course, it's all about who's teaching, right? If the teacher knows what they're talking about and they're passionate about it, it's going to be a wonderful class.
Right.
And this guy was. He knew, and he was passionate about it, and the acting techniques that he taught translated whether there was a horse in the scene or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a good class. So yeah, I encourage everybody to take classes. But again, in this industry, there's scams, and people are wary. So it's word of mouth. You hear things about people who have actually taken these classes and done it before, and they say, "Oh my God, that was a great experience." And that, to me, that's worth everything. Because if I hear from someone I trust that this class is a good class, then there's a good chance I'm going to take it.
Right. No, I'd rather take that class, and if let's say it's $30, I'd rather take that $30 and invest in that training versus getting injured and have to pay $30,000. And part of that was already covered by insurance.
Yeah. Getting injured or not looking like you're comfortable around a horse. A lot of this was like, hey, you're an actor.
Yeah.
I use a lot of what I can hear the teachers in my head. Hey, you're an actor, act like it.
Right.
So for me, the first time I got on this horse, I was like struggling, and when I got up on top of it, it was like it was a victory. He's like, no.
Right.
He's like, you gotta look like you've done this 1,000 times before.
Right.
It's no big deal. And
Right.
once you get up on top of the horse, it's like you own this whole thing. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, and it was great. It was a rewarding experience when you learn stuff like that and you grow. And that's part of another benefit, I think, of this business.
Now, for you yourself, being an actor in DC Bounty Hunter, are you officially wrapped, or you still have some more scenes to go?
I don't know. I'm hoping that I have some more scenes to go. I think I do, because I don't think the rivalry has concluded. So one of the last... Well, we don't give away too much, but I'm hoping we're filming again, I think this weekend, Saturday, and there's going to be a big time actor there, I think, joining us.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Yeah. And so I would love to be a part of that. And as far, maybe there's I think a meeting, cast and crew meeting tonight. We might find out.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I'm hoping to ride this out, and then it's going to be franchised into other.
I heard that
cities,
because as far as I was told and what I've heard through the grapevine, they want to do Philadelphia Bounty Hunter, and then they want to bring it back and do maybe a Baltimore Bounty Hunter or something like that. I know the Philadelphia one for sure is confirmed.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Baltimore one yet. That's just I think that's just something that's thrown in the rumor mill, So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, but it's exciting that this project could have legs, because I've been telling everybody that I'm working on this. I'll complain a little bit. I have to work. I'm working on the weekend. It's there extra time. it's silly. I can walk away anytime, and then I know that when this is over, I'm gonna miss it.
Right.
I just know I'm gonna miss it. So to find out that there might be a possibility of extending a little bit is pretty exciting.
What are your impressions in terms of like your experience in DC Bounty Hunter? I mean, are you really enjoying it? Are you you're just taking it for what it's worth? Are you learning a lot? How do you feel?
Oh, I'm loving it. Yeah, and it's so wonderful to contrast it with the other project that I'm doing, The Word and Deed, which is scripted. Okay, and then so I have lines, and that gives me anxiety as an actor, which I've found out very strongly lately because I'm getting more and more lines, which is great.
Right.
But memorizing it and getting the timing right, with responding in a scene, it's not easy to make it look natural, which is
right.
But with the way Jason does it, with not the script, that takes away that anxiety. I don't have to remember what I'm going to say, but there's a new kind of anxiety, like I have to create, and come up with things to say.
Yeah.
And he's so gracious. He'll say a lot of times before the scene starts, hey, this is your scene. Take it away. Do whatever you want. And I'm thinking, oh man, okay.
Yeah. When it's all said and done with this particular project, and knowing that you help contribute to this project, what kind of like message do you want to leave out to the filming community and acting community? Do you want people to know that, hey, you know what, I'm here. David Eppstein is an actor, and he loves to act, and he's good at it, and he's talented. I mean, take a look at what I just did. I mean, is that the type of message that you want to leave out there in that community?
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate that. I think we have a really neat kind of film community that we have here in DC, and it's quite exciting. There's some overlap between actually Word and Deed and DC Bounty Hunter. There's a few actors who are acting on both, and I feel like we've got something going here that's very exciting. When Jason speaks, he's very inspirational.
Yeah.
And it's very.
I think it's from his Christian background.
Yeah, it's very moving, and it's just like after he speaks, I'm like, this is great. It's good.
Right.
This could be something. So yeah, I would love to continue this. It's just so much fun, and the people that we get to meet and the things that we get to do. I absolutely love it, and I would love to continue doing this.
Nice. I mean, now when you say that you want to continue it, do you want to continue it as an actor? Do you want to continue it as like a sound guy or somebody behind the scenes? Do you want to be incorporated in stunts and fight scenes and fight choreography? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I think all of that. But for now, I do prefer the in front of the camera work. When I say work, it's a lot less work than the behind the camera work.
For sure.
Sometimes, sometimes it can be a little taxing, but in my experience, when you're behind the camera, part of the crew, it is it's a lot of work. You're rushing around, and you might be holding the boom mic,
right?
And this and that. But really, I'm so happy generally to be on a set, on a production set, that I'll do just about anything, and it is rewarding to contribute. And to be helpful on a set. Like, when Robert or Jason say, hey, it's helpful having you around today.
Yeah.
You weren't in front of the camera, but, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, handling the sound or getting the different lenses for the camera is helpful. So, yeah, I enjoy that. And then you get to be there and just kind of watch everything happen, which is magical.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Where does David Eppstein go from here in terms of his acting? Where does he want to go after this?
Yeah, I would love to continue with as long as the DC Bounty Hunter train is moving. If it moves to Philly, I would love to stay on with that. Same with Word and Deed. I love both of these projects, so I would love to ride those out, and then from there, whatever Jason's doing next, I would love to be a part of. And then, if there are other filmmakers out there that need an actor or part of the crew, I would love to join them as well.
Nice.
I love the variety. Yeah, it's so much. Like I was on a military base the other day. I'm a bounty hunter this day, and then word and deed, I'm a church treasurer. It's like it's a lot of fun just playing the different characters.
When you officially wrap on DC Bounty Hunter, would you at any point go to Jason or anybody in the production team and say, okay, this is what I did like about it, but if I had to nitpick on what we can do to make it better, these are my suggestions? Would you be bold enough to go down that rabbit hole, or would you just kind of keep that right in the cupboard?
That's a great question. No, if I had something that I felt strongly about, I would definitely say something. But as far as little things, maybe not. I have a great deal of respect for Jason because he's won awards in this business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has.
And so for me to give him some feedback or something like that, I would have to feel very strongly about it. And right now, I'm loving the ride. Everything's been great. But that's a great question. I do hope to see you at the big premiere. It's all going to be exciting, the red carpet and everything.
Well, we already had that what was it, over at the Ocean Lounge?
That was like a meet and greet.
The meet and
but
greet,
there's going to be a premiere where this thing's going to show.
I can't wait to see what happens with that. I'm hoping honestly that we'll have maybe a big theater in DC somewhere, and then we can just kind of show it off, because I know that Jason was talking about, I don't want to show it somewhere that is in the DC area.
Right.
I want it to be in Washington, D.C. And he was very adamant about that.
Yeah.
Just like I'm pretty sure that if he did, Philadelphia Bounty Hunter, he doesn't want to do it in the outskirts of, suburbia Philadelphia. He wants to have it in Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah.
So
that'll be exciting. Yeah, because there's only a few options there, but
I'll just say this. I love his moxie.
Yeah.
And I love the desire of wanting to, let's say, at least this specifically, he wants to have a premiere in Washington, D.C. I like that. The only thing I would probably say is that if there's something that plays, a little bit different in the storyline where, it's either too expensive or the day that you want to do it, it's not available, but we have it here, it's just more like 5 minutes away outside of Washington, D.C., more in the Maryland area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you should be mad about it. I think you should fire the trigger and try to aim for the target for that.
Yeah, because after all, we did film in Baltimore, so
right.
It's kind of, we're chasing these bounties all over.
Yeah. It's like saying you can't have it in Washington, D.C. However, you can have it in Bethesda, Maryland. Okay, that again, 5 or 10 minutes outside of D.C. That's still Wisconsin Avenue.
Yep, Silver Spring.
Yeah,
it's a good option.
Yeah, Silver Spring's also a good option because a lot of people can access 16th Street, going right in, and I live in Silver Spring.
Yeah.
So to me, I'd be like, dude, if you can do it in Silver Spring, that might be better because I'm home. I can do DC, but if you did it in Silver Spring, heck yeah, I have no problems, because what if I don't have transportation and I need to take public transportation? It'd be an easy access.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of good options there. It's going to be exciting. And then the post-production, that I've never really been involved in that part of the process, but he seems to be open to different people playing a role there, so that'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
Yeah. Well, we have a little thing on our podcast that we call it the lightning round, or the rapid fire. That's the correct terminology. The rapid fire. It's like the lightning round when back in the old school days of like game shows. We're like, hey, it's the lightning round, And what it is with we ask you a whole bunch of questions. You just basically do your best to answer it, whether if it's true, false, multiple choice, if it's a realistic question, if it's a question that's based out of fantasy. That's what it is. So, are you ready, sir, to do the rapid fire challenge?
Let's go.
My guy, David Eppstein, is in one corner, and in the other corner, the rapid fire challenge, courtesy of the Kim Hoang podcast experience. So, let's go in no particular order. Okay. Between the primary colors of yellow, blue, and red, my favorite color is
red.
Favorite car?
Mustang.
Favorite color on a car?
Silver.
Nice. Favorite type of food that you would like to eat?
Oh, McDonald's. I love McDonald's.
Oh, man. It's funny. I asked Jason that same question. He's like, dude, I love diner food. Diner food. I love diner food. The diner food breakfast is where I'm at. Like, I don't care if I was at Denny's or IHOP. If I'm eating there, I'm good. Like, I'm good.
Yes.
I don't need anything, extravagant. Just give me that.
Yeah.
Which, if I can jump on Jason for a second, I did like that answer, but I'd rather go to like an old school diner, like something that's not like Denny's or not
True.
Not IHOP. Like
it's got some character.
Yeah. Like, because there are several places in the Maryland state that have this place called the Double T Diner, which is outstanding, and that's awesome. If I went over to College Park, the College Park Diner is incredible, although you have a lot of drunken college kids.
Oh yeah.
But
that's
it's
how you know
awesome.
it's a good deal.
Yeah, that's a great deal. That's a wonderful deal.
Follow the college kids.
Yeah. I'd be like, Jason, there's a bunch of drunken college kids eating over this diner, but you're a first degree black belt in Taekwondo. You can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You won't be right. You won't be right. Favorite place that you ever traveled domestically?
Domestically, gotta be Vegas.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite place that you possibly traveled internationally?
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro.
Oh.
Sorry to all my Sao Paulo people.
Sorry to all the Paulistas, but
yeah, all the Paulistas.
I like cariocas.
Yeah, all the Paulistas are busy working. They do have a saying down there, something like that. The Paulistas work all day, so the karaoke's can play all day, something like that.
There you go. You said it yourself, though. You married a Brazilian woman.
Yeah, married to a Brazilian for over 20 years now.
20 years?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Any children?
No children. A cat. We discussed having children. It was one of those things where we're on a 5-year plan. 5 years. After we're married, 5 years, and then that became 8 years, and then all of a sudden that it's 20. So it was like, okay, we're having a good time. Everything's all good, and we have nieces and nephews that we can play with, and then send them back with their parents.
There you go. Last movie that you saw?
Last movie that I saw,
even if you saw it on Netflix.
So that would probably be The Irishman, right? With
Is that the one with Robert De Niro?
Yeah, Robert De Niro and all
Pesci?
those stars. Yeah, Pesci.
Yeah.
And,
that was good.
Al Pacino's in there.
Yeah.
I like all that, the mob stuff. Mafia movies.
I do like it, but I got it depends on who's in it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they could screw it up if they get the wrong people.
Yeah, like let me see. I gotta name one. There was one where it was that Robert De Niro was in it, but also Ray Liotta was in it.
Yes. Yes. So that was.
Let me see.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, let me see. Ray Liotta. Thank God I have an iPhone with me, ladies and gentlemen. We're also hooked up on Wi-Fi. So let's see what's happening here. Let's see.
Goodfellas.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I almost said Wise Guys, but I think that was the book. Yeah,
no,
but Goodfellas.
I know he was in Wise Guys, but it was Goodfellas.
Yeah, Goodfellas. That was awesome.
Yeah. Also, like, Casino.
Casino was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good
I
one.
mean, I like The Godfather. Was to me is
I mean, that's the OG.
the OG.
Yeah, that's the best one.
And then Godfather 2 was great, and then Godfather 3 for me was just a kind of a disappointment.
There you go. Continuing on, favorite sports team.
Favorite sports team, the Ohio State University Buckeyes.
Nice. They're, I like them for football.
Good, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm football basically. I mean, I hope they win and everything, but football's most important.
Yeah, I hear that. There are a lot of people from the NFL came from the Ohio State.
Yeah, I know, way too many. We should have won the national. We should have won the championship. We got all the talent. But anyway, this year, we'll do it this year.
Favorite video game.
Oh my God, GTA Online.
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm almost addicted.
Okay. Okay. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Okay. Apple Music or Spotify?
Apple Music, yeah.
Nice. Name the last musical artist that you listened to on your iPhone, no matter what music streaming service you were using.
Yeah, typically it's YouTube,
I love YouTube.
and I'm all over the place, so don't judge me by this one. But Merle Haggard, I think I'll just stay here and drink.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
All over the place, though. Yeah.
If you could pick the perfect character that you would like to be as an actor, who would that character be?
Oh, a character. Yeah, like the funny sidekick. Yeah, that one. The star, at this point, there's a lot of pressure on the star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm aiming a little bit under the lead, but the funny, quirky sidekick. I like that kind of character.
Is the glass half full or is it half empty?
Yeah, half full.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a funny one. Honestly, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think I'm just seeking opinion. Is it less filling or does it taste great?
Ooh, it doesn't really taste that great, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, so I think less filling.
Okay, that's fair. Now, as far as I know, you have not trained in martial arts.
That's correct. Yeah, you can pretty much tell by looking at me and how I walk.
That's okay. That's fair. If there was a martial art that you would love to train in and earn a black belt in, what would that martial art be? If you had one to pick.
Off the top of my head, I think it's judo.
Okay, judo. Yeah.
I like the idea. I heard that you're using the other person's like momentum and
right,
kind of against them. I kind of
all
like
about
that.
The leverage,
yeah,
and
leverage
energy.
and stuff. Yeah, so we're not like beating the crap out of each other, but kind of like
Have you ever watched judo in the Olympics?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Because I used to wrestle, so it's somewhat similar to wrestling. Similar ideas, but different.
It's different. Yeah, but you can definitely see the I get that. Are you an MMA fan?
No, I wouldn't say fan. I'll casually watch. Again, it's big in Brazil, so the Brazilians are into it. There's been a lot of good Brazilian fighters, and then of course I'll root for the American ones.
There you go.
Yeah.
Being that you are married to a Brazilian, what is one of your favorite Brazilian foods that you're just like, I gotta have that?
So, the steak. It's a certain cut of steak that they have, picanha.
Okay, picanha. Right? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So what they do is they leave. There's a big strip of fat that apparently everybody else, including the Americans, cut that off for some reason, and the Brazilians don't. So there's actually a food truck up in Rockville called the Fire Pit that sells. It's really good.
Yeah, I know the Fire Pit.
Picanha, and then what they put on it, this stuff's called farofa. Okay.
Farofa. Yeah, farofa. Yeah.
I'm from Ohio, so I don't know how to say farofa. But anyway, when I discovered that, I was like, wow. Why don't we have this here?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. I don't, it's just was a great addition to the steak.
There's this place in Wheaton, Maryland, and it's literally called the Brazilian Place.
Okay.
That's off of University Boulevard. And my God, like, it's incredible. Like, you can either order stuff to go, or you can eat there and there's like an all-you-can-eat type of thing. But because your wife is Brazilian, I think you should take her there and be like, honey, we got to go. Because, I got it on good authority that, a colleague of mine from the acting industry told me about this.
Yeah.
And, she might actually, like, die of euphoria right there on the spot, when, here's the coxinhas and the pastels and the pão de queijos and stuff like that. And there's this Brazilian soda called Guaraná, which is like, people go crazy for that. That's like the equivalent of like Coca-Cola here in the States.
Yeah.
It's that religious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. Like when I heard that, I was just like, well, you guys are being a little bit dramatic about that. But as soon as I tried, I was like, I take back everything that I said.
It's different. It's hard to explain, It's kind of like, it's not ginger ale. It's not, it's this and that, but
I don't know if you can properly describe it. It just, it's not bad.
No,
it's good. It's just, I just don't know how to describe it.
It's indescribable. Yeah. You just absolutely have to try it. And then the caipirinhas, they make with the cachaças.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
So simple. It's cachaça, lime, and sugar.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. When it comes to automobiles, automatic or manual?
Oh, I love the manual, but for practicality, when you're in the city now. So, nowadays to get a manual, in fact, it's funny they brought that up. There are very few manufacturers that make the manual anymore. So I was seriously at one point considering the Cadillac makes one, like a true manual.
Yeah.
So at some point they're gonna be extinct, and if you've got one, it could be gold. But am I ready to invest in it? Blackwing? No, not yet. But I love the manual. When you go overseas and you rent a car, a lot of times it's a manual.
It's manual.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't know
unless you're on a hill.
I don't know how to drive a manual.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
It's easy unless if you're trying to start on a hill, then you got problems. You got problems. Yeah, that happened to me in Italy, and trying to start on a hill, and I ended up squealing the tires.
Yeah,
and people are looking at me like, "Oh, this brash American's trying to show off," and I'm like, "No, I'm just trying to get up this hill."
Oh man. Okay, let's get a couple more good ones. Favorite restaurant to eat at?
L'Oreal Plaza. Yeah, Northwest DC. So it's like upscale Tex-Mex. So you get like a carne asada, typically is, and then I like they just got a lot of. And it's good value. You get a lot of food for the money. They haven't raised their prices very much since I've been going there for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good place. Good, and you get the frozen margaritas and a really good high quality steak for not an outrageous price.
There you go. Being that you are an actor, name something that other people may not know about the acting industry, but should probably know if they're trying to enter that industry.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think you kind of have to have thick skin. You have to be, because when I was doing background work and stuff, people would come in like the director and this and that, and it's all subjective. So whatever you're doing might be wrong for them, but it's not wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and they would come in, they'd be like, I need you, and you. And, so that's several people who didn't get picked. So if you're auditioning or you're doing certain things, you're going to face rejection, at some point here and there. And you got to be able to take it well. And some people, they can't take it that well. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I think you definitely have to prepare yourself for people to tell you don't have the right look. You're not tall enough.
Yeah.
You're too fat. You're too skinny. Oh my God. What did you just say?
Yeah.
What? So you got to be ready for that.
Would you? Okay. Here's a multiple choice type of question. Who would you rather work with? Either A, I'd rather work with an actor that has no experience but has a good attitude, or B, I'd rather work with an actor that has a lot of experience but is entitled and has a bad reputation?
Yeah, the second one for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, all day. I love that about entitled. There's just the stories like about Chevy Chase that you hear, the stuff that he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's terrible. I would never condone that behavior.
Right.
But to watch it happen, and see it, to me, that's more exciting and exhilarating. And and I'm also assuming that the one with experience is exhibiting this type of behavior is probably famous. Kind of got their things, and just so for me, it's almost like when you meet someone, that's kind of what you want them to be. So I met, when I was a little kid, I had a World War II hero, Pappy Boyington. I used to love that show about him.
Okay.
Black Sheep Squadron, right?
Mm-hmm.
My parents took me to meet him.
Oh wow.
And he was a jerk. He was,
Oh, damn.
he wouldn't sign anything unless you bought his book, and and they keep telling the story about how bad they found him. I'm like, no, that's great. He's a Marine. I'm like, what do you want him to be nice to little kids? I'm like, no,
right.
He's a bastard. That's what he is. But he's a tough one, bastard. So it's kind of like when you meet a actor, probably famous, you want him to be nice and humble too. But then there's the stories of like,
I don't know, man. I kind of disagree with that, and I'll explain why. It's just like, if I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be on the set and I'm going to be acting as this person on the set, to me, and maybe it's just the way that I was raised. I was taught to be respectful to people,
sure, yeah.
And in order to, get respect, you have to give it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, if I'm giving all the respect and honor in the world, but I'm not getting that back, and this person is entitled and think the world revolves around them, and there's so much stuff going on with that person, and all these actors are telling me a lot about don't work with this actor because this is what has happened, and they got bad heat and they've been known for this. At that point, it's just like, I'd rather not work with that person because number one, I want to have a good experience on the set, mm-hmm. but number two, as a person that deals with a lot of mental health challenges, that might be bad for my psyche.
Yeah. Oh, no, I get that. And I think for me, it depends on what type of wild behavior this person's exhibiting. If they're abusive or, mean and just no, I wouldn't handle that. I'm kind of talking about, maybe the famous guy who shows up late and just feels entitled. Maybe shows up a little, inebriated or something, and and is like, where's my lobster? Where's my cab? I thought I told you no green M&M. Just weird shit like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
And then for me, it would be kind of like fun to watch, but not like it would make up for a good story kind of a thing. But no, nothing like just too entitled. Yeah, you get some of these actors who abuse other people, and Chevy Chase, I think he crossed the line a couple times, and it's like
Christian Bale too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And Robert Downey Jr. when he was in his drug phase, that's kind of more what I was thinking of.
Okay.
The ones that come in and exhibit maybe erratic behavior, but not abusive behavior.
I got you. Okay, you have been invited to go to a Michelin 3-star restaurant, and when you come into the restaurant to your table, you find out that there are 3 available spots left to fulfill. Now, who would you invite? Now, let me explain more in detail. You can invite somebody that you know personally. You can invite somebody that you don't know. They can be famous. They could be non-famous. They could be dead. They could be alive. Who would be those 3?
Man, dead or alive, 3 people. So I would have to go with like back in the day. I wanted to, like the old King of England, whatever. Just kind of pick one from back in the day.
Right.
And the reason why I want that because I want to be able to communicate with them.
There you go. Yeah.
Like Jesus would be an obvious choice, but we would need an interpreter.
Yeah.
Like I would just sit there staring. Whatever. Yeah, anyway, maybe I'm overthinking it. But and then someone famous who could make me famous. So I'm thinking of someone like Steven Spielberg or someone like
there you go,
like who I could just pitch him for just 5 minutes. Like, dude, just please, just one line in one movie. That's all I need.
There you go.
And then who else? God, you know, if I don't pick my wife, she's going to listen to this. My wife's going to listen to this.
Oh no.
So I would pick her. But if I got another one, no, it's just I think that would be good. I like, you know, a historical figure who would just be fascinating to talk to. And you could tell I've thought about this before. For me, it would have to be someone who speaks English. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it's like what, like Leonardo da Vinci. Oh my God, I'm sitting down with Leonardo da Vinci. What? Unless we have an interpreter there,
right?
You know,
right. I got you.
So I am thinking, some old king of England back in the day.
There you go. Now, does your wife know that you're actually on a podcast today?
She does, yeah.
Oh.
She's super excited. She's going to be the first listener for sure, and she's going to blast this. So this will be worldwide.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be on every major podcasting platform on the planet.
From Copacabana to the favelas.
Yeah. Or even, you know, from Beverly Hills to Belarus.
That's
right. It's happening.
Nice.
It's happening. Okay. Let's see. A few more. If somebody was actually going to go into the business of being an actor and they were talking to you about that, what other pieces of advice would you like to give to them besides maybe certain things that you've already mentioned?
Yeah, I would say, you know, be humble, treat it like a real job. You know, this happened, I got affected by this a little bit. You know, you might accept some roles where you're not getting financially compensated. Okay?
Yep.
So you're volunteering.
Yep.
And there might be, you know, a certain, you might feel like, oh, I'm not getting paid for this, I'm not going to treat it seriously. Well, that's a big mistake.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
treat it very seriously, and then, be humble. Maybe be willing to do some background work when, you know, you want to have a line, you want to be in there, but that could be a way to get in. You never know. It happened for me. So anyway, be humble and treat it very, very seriously, and train. You
Nice.
know? Yeah, continue to learn. You know, and because that shows people that you're invested. You know, you hear from some people that like, oh, they do headshots. Well, they just, you know, send their own headshot in with an iPhone. Okay, well, that's fine. But if you have a professional headshot done, that sends a message to everybody like, you're taking this seriously.
Yeah.
You know, that might not get you the job, but you're sending a message. You know?
Yeah. Nice. When the dust settles and you're walking out of the limelight and you're like, hey, I'm done. You know, what kind of legacy do you want to leave to the world?
Yeah, that I was helpful. You know, that I helped at least somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I like that quote that, you know, hey, I can't help everybody, but I can help somebody.
Right.
You know, so even if it's just one person that I made their life a little better, their day a little better, or something, helped somebody, now that's fine with me. Yeah, definitely. Hey, he was helpful.
Oh, there you go. If there was one thing that you wanted to tell people about David Eppstein that they don't know about, that might be a fun fact, what would that be?
Oh, fun fact about me. That I like comedy. I tried stand-up comedy for a little while. I took some lessons. I went to the DC Improv.
Okay.
And I gave that a shot for a while, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. You know, when you're hanging out with comics. So that's something people probably wouldn't know. I have a set or two on YouTube, and frankly, not that great. Like above average. Like I would go to open mics, you know, regularly and do the thing. And night after night after night after night, I would, you know, notice a pattern. I was never the funniest. I was never the least funny. In some nights I was a little bit above average, some nights a little bit below average, but it was a lot of fun to try.
You were just the guy that made the attempt.
And I was like, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it was free, so people weren't paying to see this.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
And it just sounds so easy in my head. It's like you just have to be funny, and they're giving you like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. If you could be funny for 4 or 5 minutes, then that's a success. And it sounds so easy, but it's so hard. Yeah. You get up there and it's just you and that microphone, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you know.
There you go.
But it's so much fun.
Nice.
And it's
nice. Well, I would say that we have done pretty well here.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, to be honest with you, I think that this went really smoothly.
I hope so. Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. This is the part where I'm going to mute myself, and if you have anything that, if you want to talk about, like, upcoming projects that you're involved in, if you want to give a shout out to somebody, if you want to promote, maybe like an event that you're going to be involved in, or even like your social medias, how people can find you, I'm going to give you that time to do that right now. So go ahead and do your thing while I'll, peruse around to see what's happening back there real quick. So yeah, just go for it.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun being on this podcast and talking to you all. Just please pay attention to DC Bounty Hunter and Word and Deed. Those are kind of the two main projects that I'm involved in at this time. And the one is Thompson Productions, and the other one is King Jason Media. So I'm super excited about those two. And then where that goes from here, just not sure. And then as far as finding me on social media, I'm on Facebook. My last name's Eppstein with 2 P's. So I'm not hard to find. I guess that's one positive about having a unique last name. You're not hard to find, but that could be a positive and a negative, I suppose. But so far, we're making it work. But no, I really appreciate the time that you've given me, and this has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
All I gotta say, David, is that this has been fun. This has really been cool, and the fact that you made time for this, it's definitely appreciated. And if you ever want to run it back again, you have an open invitation to come back, and we could do a round 2, where we can talk more about movie stuff, or just stuff in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds great. It's been an honor. I really appreciate the invitation, and I would love to do this again. We can talk about all kinds of things.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in the world of acting, that is a wrap. That's a wrap. So I didn't think that again, as a podcaster, you just hope and pray that whatever that you do is going to be as smooth as silk. And not only was it smooth as silk, it was just like butter. You know what I mean? So it was great, and it was wonderful. Let's go ahead and do some closing show notes and everything like that. You would think after 5 seasons we got it down to a science, and to be honest with you, we're still working on that. You can find your boy over at Facebook. Just go under the search box in Facebook and type in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Please follow that. We are also on Instagram and Twitter, now known as X. Follow us under the tag name at TKHPC Experience. All in one word, lowercase letters. Please follow us, and we will follow you back. We are on 6 podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Please like, follow, and subscribe to those, to my podcast on all of those podcasting platforms. Do me a favor. If you have Spotify, please give me a 5-star ranking. If you have Apple Podcasts, which for anybody that owns an iPhone or, an iPad or any Apple product like a MacBook Pro or like an iMac, please give me a 5-star ranking and a positive written review, because the more times that we get a lot of positivity and a lot of good show notes written as a ranking on either Spotify and or Apple Podcasts, then we get our podcast thrown into the front lines, into the front page. And then next thing you know, somebody could be like, oh my gosh, it's the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I heard about this because my friend Susan told me that she is a loyal listener, she likes the content, and that, we should give it a chance. Yes, please do so. You know what I mean? Also, help a brother out by, sharing the word about this, either on social media, which again, we have the Facebooks, the Twitters, now known as the X, the Instagrams, the TikToks, and the Snapchats, and or just share it out with people that personally, like a friend, family member, a coworker, a next door neighbor. In the world of advertising, it's what we call brand awareness. Sharing is caring. We definitely do appreciate that. Last but not least, if you want to be a special guest on my show, if you want to be a special guest host, if you have any questions for our Q&A session, which is something that I do on a solo episode with no guest, and or if you have any constructive criticisms, email me. The Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. In the subject box, put up whatever subject it is. On the body of the email, write out whatever it is that you need to write out, and then just send it out. And then I'll get it like in an instant. Once I read it, I'll probably get back to you within a day or two, but I would probably read it and probably respond back immediately because that's how I roll. And last but not least, guys, and I think most importantly, please be safe out there, no matter what it is in life that you do. Life is just too short to be doing the dumb stuff, putting yourself in danger, putting yourself in jeopardy, and then you end up being buried in a pine box and being thrown under 6 feet deep. We don't want that to happen to you. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy. We want you to be, striving for success because you do earn that. We do believe that you deserve the best in life, no matter it is what you do. And if somebody else tells you otherwise, there's 5 fingers. Give them the one, And if you don't know what the one is, I don't know what to tell you. But you can give them the one, So there it is. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I've had a blast, and this went so smooth that I don't have any complaints at all. This is how podcasting should be, ladies and gentlemen. So if y'all are podcasters and you want to know how podcasts work and how it should be, take notes from this episode, because when it's smooth as silk and it's just going so great that there's literally any bumps on the road, you're doing something right. At least that's my opinion. If you have an occasional bump or two, fine, but just make sure that there are not 3 million bumps on the road. You know what I mean? The fewer the better. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Again, it has been fun. It has been awesome. Again, I want to thank actor and sound person, Mr. David Eppstein, for being my guest on here. It was great. It was wonderful. And like I said before, if he wants to run it back, he's got an open invitation. I'm going to leave him the skeleton key. He can just go to the back door, unlock it, tap me on the shoulder, be like, hey, I still got something to say. Okay, say less. We're on it. So, that being said, for the one time here, somewhere in the state of Maryland, we're not going to give you the exact location, but we are in the state of Maryland. This is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation. I am the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power within the hour, the dude with the right attitude, and the guy that's so nice, he did it not once, but he did it twice. And like my brand new show poster has said, and I quote, I'm here to have real conversations, have powerful stories for you guys to hear that will help you to have a lasting impact on not only, my life, but your life too. So for the one time here, gotta say thank you. God bless y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all be well. If you need anything, hit me up. We can stir a good conversation and maybe work something out. But I got to get going, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. I will catch you on the next one. Deuces. I am out. Peace.